Hello, my name is Marianne Irwin, and I am the subject librarian for Business Management and Legal Studies at Webster University Library. In this video, we'll talk about how to find business sources and evaluate them for reliability using the CRAP test. We'll look at this topic as if we're finding outside sources for an employment law class, but the following strategies apply to research in all disciplines. You might ask, can I just Google my topic? Well, sure, if your professor allows. However, you will need to make sure that the website is reputable, which isn't always easy to do. Here's an example. In July 2023, the U.S. Supreme Court ruled on an affirmative action case. Wanting to know more about it, I Googled recent Supreme Court ruling on affirmative action. The first result was a page from the American Civil Liberties Union. Is this a good website? The ACLU is known as a fairly liberal organization. You can look at the website's About Us, and it may give you some clues about their point of view and mission. So you should always look there. Look for biases, if any, of the organization sponsoring the website. If you scroll further down on this webpage, you will find a single paragraph about how the ACLU thinks that affirmative action rulings in higher education admissions might affect employers. Do you think that this single paragraph is enough info to use this website as an outside source and in an employment law class? To further evaluate internet and other sources, your librarians often suggest the CRAP test. Ask these questions about your source. C is for currency. When was the information published or posted or updated? Do you need newer information, and can you find it? Relevance is particularly important. Ask, does this source fit my content or information need? Who is the intended audience? General readers or professionals in a particular field, or scholars and students in a specific discipline? Is there enough depth or substance in the context that furthers my understanding of the topic? Authority means who is the organization and author behind the source? What are their qualifications for writing? The second A is accuracy. Where did the author get their information? From other reliable people or sources? And are these cited or linked? Do they present an unbiased or balanced view of the topic? And finally, P is for purpose. Why was this information published or posted? Is it educational or to convince? Is it trying to sell a product or an idea or an agenda? And if so, do they make that clear? Studying the source's content and answering these questions should give you an idea about whether a source is reliable and appropriate for your assignments or needs. You may then ask, is there an easier or safer way to find out about how affirmative action programs affect diversity in the workplace? Well, yes, use library databases. Here you may find content you won't find on Google, at least not without hitting a paywall. Articles from thousands of well-respected periodicals, which include journals, trade publications, magazines, and newspapers in all disciplines. More about these in a few seconds. Advanced search capabilities, ability to limit by publication type and date, linking to full text for free, the ability to generate citations in multiple styles. Business and law, like all disciplines, have all four types of periodicals. At the scholarly end of the spectrum are journals, like Employee Benefit Plan Review and Labor Law Journal, whose articles are written by expert researchers and theorists in a discipline. Generally, long lists of references at the end of the articles tell you where they got their information. Journal articles are often peer-reviewed, meaning that other experts in the field have vetted the article before publication, which adds to the credibility of the source. In CRAP terms, this is authority and accuracy. Next on the spectrum are trade publications, for example, Lawyer Monthly. Articles are written by industry insiders and often explain real-world legal or business issues for readers who have some knowledge of that industry. At the popular end are business magazines like Harvard Business Review and newspapers like the Wall Street Journal, which are written by paid writers who may or may not have background experience on the topic they're writing about. These articles are shorter with less jargon, so they are more accessible and interesting to a wider range of general readers. Whether you need scholarly or popular sources depends on your assignment. If you don't know, ask your professor. To select and search library databases, ask yourself, what type of sources do I want or need? Articles, books, financial statements, legal cases? Into what subject or discipline does my course or topic fall? Pick a database that contains those types of sources and our subjects. Search. More on this later. Read and evaluate the source using the CRAP criteria to justify why this source is appropriate for your discussion post, assignment, or paper. Cite it if you use the source in your assignment. To find the right database, begin at the library homepage at library.webster.edu. There are multiple ways to identify the best databases for your topic. We'll look at two: the Articles and Database button, and later the Research Guide button. We'll start with Articles and Databases. For our demonstration, we're going to select the Quick Article Search set of EBSCO databases from the Know the Database You Want menu because it searches across a multidisciplinary database, Academic Search Complete, which contains articles from many legal publications, and Business Source Complete for the employment perspective, as well as several other EBSCO databases. However, if you would like a more focused approach, from the Articles and Databases page, you may select your program or course subject to display lists of individual databases. Let's look briefly at the Human Resources list. The HR list contains 11 databases, and you can limit by type to focus the list on articles or other formats. Our largest business article database is Business Source Complete, so it's always a good bet to begin a search. All EBSCO databases use the same search form layout. We will begin by typing the keywords or phrases that we'd expect to find in articles about our topic into the search form, one concept per line or search box. So if we're looking for how affirmative action programs affect diversity in employment or the workplace, our search might look like this: affirmative action in the top box and diversity in the second box. The database adds the "and," meaning both words must appear together. We add the words employ or work in the third box. Because either of those words describe the concept, we type "or" between them to find one or the other or both. We can add the asterisk or star character, Shift+8 on your computer keyboard, to the end of a word to search for variant endings. Thus, work asterisk will find work or workplace, and employ asterisk will find employ, employment, etc. This search found over 2,000 articles. Because we really don't want to look through 2,000 articles, we can use the Find Results menu on the left to add limits to our search. If your assignment requires journal articles, you may check the box for peer-reviewed. This adds a level of authority and accuracy, to use the CRAP terms, to our results. Limiting by publication date helps fulfill the currency criteria. Here I've limited to both peer-reviewed and articles published in or after 2018. The search now finds only 156 items. Select an article title to see the database record for it. The subtitle of the article, Diversity Initiatives in the U.S. Workplace, tells us that this is a history of the topic. The citation shows it was published in 2022, so it's relatively current, and it's 12 pages long. Reading the abstract or summary tells us the article's intended purposes for writing it was to study whether affirmative action programs have resulted in a more diverse workplace. This may help us to decide if it's relevant for our research, but we'll have to read the entire article to be sure. If you load to the full text of the article, you can see that the author's university affiliations are listed and that there are 3.5 pages of references that the authors consulted when writing this article. Want articles that are easier to read? If your assignment allows, articles from trade publications, magazines, and newspapers are generally not as long as journal articles and are written in a more natural language. Because they are not peer-reviewed, it's up to you to apply the CRAP criteria to make sure that they are reputable sources. To limit to these types of periodicals, from the bottom of the Sources Type menu, click Show More. From here, you may check multiple boxes. Here's the record for a 5-page article from the Harvard Business Review, Digital Articles Magazine. Sometimes magazine articles will show you the author's affiliation or credentials. If an article doesn't, try clicking the author's name hyperlink to see what else they've written and published in this database, or you might Google them for additional information. Another perk of using a library database is that it can help you to cite in multiple styles, including APA, MLA, and more. Click Cite on the Tools menu to open a pop-up box that contains multiple citations. If you copy one, just be sure to check that it is properly formatted before using it in your paper. So why do we cite? When we reuse information from an outside source, we need to give the original author credit for the words, direct quote, and ideas, paraphrase, you borrowed from them. Tell your reader where to find the original sources, and within your paper, citation differentiates others' ideas from your own analysis of the topic. That is, you should provide a cite for the ideas borrowed from others, but not your own. You might remember that I said earlier that there are multiple ways to select a database for your own research. I want to cover one more. From the library homepage, click the big blue button for research guides. From the list of guides by schools or colleges, let's select the Human Resources link. If we continue with our example of finding outside sources for an employment law class, you may wish to search legal databases. The Business Law tab on the HR Research Guide shows us that our most comprehensive legal database is Westlaw from Thomson Reuters. On this page, you may also watch brief library videos that show you how to find a legal case or a legal statute or law review articles on a legal topic. We here in the library like to say, if you try your own research for at least 20 minutes and can't find what you need, ask a librarian. The fastest ways to get help are by clicking the Ask a Librarian button on the library homepage. Services found here include 24/7 chat with real librarians. If you need more in-depth research help, you may schedule an appointment with your subject librarian. Find their contact information on the research guide for your program. We wish you happy researching.